Hello. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I'm so happy you're here. Penny's pretty pumped about this one too, apparently. Got a good helper this time. This video is part 3 in Crystals for 2022, and it's all about Kunzite. So, without further ado, my intention candle. So, my intention for this video and for this session is for you to find alignment with your soul, to find alignment with your highest and greatest good in this lifetime and in all lifetimes and dimensions and realities. And for me to help you along that path however I can, and for you to have a relaxing and wonderful evening. And I hope you connect with something in this video. If not, enjoy the relaxation. So, Kunzite. Kunzite is probably one of my most favorite stones in the whole world. Really. And I struggled a little bit with this video on when would be the right time to do it. Because it's a stone that means so much to me and it's really important, and I wanted to make sure to get it right. So I figured what time is better than today. I got my hair cut, as you can tell, and I figured it's good to take advantage of it while it looks this good, because I probably won't ever be able to get it to look like this again. So, yeah, it was great. Christina at Red Door Salon in Huntsville did a really, really good job. So, I don't know if you can hear her, it's really loud. She must really love Kunzite as much as I do. It's a crystal that when I became ready to work with it, I only worked with it for over a year. I didn't connect to it for many and many, many years, and I think it took me doing a lot of work and shadow work and things like that to be able to really access its level of vibration, because it's really high and really incredible and really special. And when I was working with it, I just knew I had to only work with this crystal because it has so much to teach. And you know how hard that must have been for me to only work with one crystal for over a year. But I'm sure many of you will remember this about me. I was obsessed. So, and I still am. It's still in my top 3, I would say, which is a tall compliment. So, yeah, I've got on my My neighbor has a motorcycle and it's so loud. My shirt says, "Let's get mystical," and it's got a crystal on it. And it seemed like the most appropriate one for this video about Kunzite because Kunzite is so mystical and just really, really special. So, Kunzite, and this is a giant piece. I have kind of an insane collection of this material. As you can imagine, if I was only working with it, I really wanted to explore just the full spectrum of vibration and lessons that it had to teach, and all the different frequencies. They're all so different. So I have an insane collection. So most of these that you will see are not typically what you're gonna find in a regular rock shop or anything like that. These are really one of a kind, world class specimens, a lot of these. So don't beat yourself up and don't think that you have to get one that's like this. There's plenty in my shop that are kind of the full spectrum. Most of the ones that I sell are high quality because the vibration really needs to travel on that high quality, but any type of Kunzite will accomplish the tasks that I'll speak about first. So as long as you have a piece, that's all you need. Don't worry about it being crazy like these. So Kunzite is a lithium silicate, lithium aluminum silicate, and it, to me, vibrates with a couple of different of the signs, so it's really kind of hard to pin this one down. The spectrum is so wide of the different qualities, but the main quality that I feel is really important for 2022 and all the time, truly, but especially right now, is transmuting energy. So rather than some of the darker crystals that might absorb energy, and then you've got this like black tourmaline, I think would be a good example, or obsidian, hematite, to even smoky quartz, those types of materials that are dark and they absorb things. Then you've got the energy trapped and you have to do something with it. You've got to cleanse it or put it in the earth or figure out some way to move that energy back out, or you've just got a crystal full of dense energy. So transmutation is the best quality for this crystal. It does not store the energy. It does not hold on to any energy. Now Penny is bathing back here, and I hope that it's not like super gross noises. Anyway, transmutation. It does not store the energy. It lifts it up. It changes it for the better. It removes the heaviness and literally changes the material. It changes the DNA of that energy and really shifts it to raise consciousness and raise vibration, raise frequency. And that is so powerful. A lot of the people that you hear speak about Kunzite will talk about it being gentle and loving, and it can be, and it is. But it's powerful. It's incredibly powerful. And I think people sleep on that fact. Now, I will say that some of the more, so this is a gem variety of Kunzite. This is probably one of my most favorite pieces. And this one is a Helix Kinzite, which means it has a helix that looks like DNA up through the center, and there's actually 3 in this crystal. And many of y'all know that that's another one of my passions, is that I collect crystals with helix. And that will be a video in and of itself, so be prepared for that one coming soon. But this crystal has such powerful, strong, strengthening energy. The location that pretty much all of these have come from is Pakistan. And as you can imagine, there's a lot of dense energy there, and especially around women. So these crystals work specifically, to me, most of them with the feminine energy, the unseen, and one of the cool properties about them is that they're tenebrescent, and they are the only crystal that is irreversibly tenebrescent. And what that means is that the UV light, or any kind of light or energy, there's also thermoluminescence and all kinds of different properties, but specifically for tenebrescence, UV light causes the color to completely disappear. And there's a lot of crystals that might fade in the sunlight, but you can fix it by heating them, but these don't work that way. And it's called the evening stone. That's actually one of the nicknames for it, because it's a stone you only really want to wear in the evening, because the UV light causes the color to disappear. So to me, that really speaks about the unseen. You know, if you get too young, it retreats and is forever in the unseen. It loses density. I think color and anything more present in this world is reflective of masculine energy, and the feminine energy is the unseen. So that's a really cool property, and you know that it's something that you can think about and meditate on, because there's a lot to infer from that. I'll probably be teaching a class about Kunzite, or I want to do also one about the light properties of crystals and how special those are. And Kunzite actually is one of the most special crystals because it has the most optical light phenomenal properties of any crystal that I'm aware of. It is triboluminescent, which means that with impact, the electrons in the crystal structure will give off a photon, and you can see, you know, it's visible. Quartz does this as well. So if you have 2 pieces of quartz and you turn all the lights off and hit them together, they will emanate light. And it's not a spark, it is from the electrons actually ripping apart. It's kind of the same thing that happens when you pull tape. I don't know if any of you have ever seen that. If you're in the dark and you pull pretty adhesive tape, it does the same thing. So really, really fun property, and also thermoluminescent. So when applied a certain temperature, the same thing happens. It's antidepressant, of course. Some people also call that property photochromatic. So that might be another way to, if you're interested in learning more about it. That's a term that's almost more modernized than antidepressant. And it's also phosphorescent, which means it retains the light and glows a little bit longer after it's heated up or it's exposed to the light, UV light. And a fluorescent, of course. It's most of them, other than the varieties that are green and colored with chromium, most of them fluoresce under UV light. And I've talked a little bit about that in the last couple of videos. So that's a really, really, really exciting and cool property. It basically means that they can store energy and release it back. And that's kind of the definition of transmuting. They store this energy and release it back as light. So it's so beautiful. And it's also pleochroic, which I've talked about before too with that appetite video. And that means when you view it at different angles or with a polarized light filter, it appears different colors. And I'll probably, if I can get it to show up well like it did last time, I'll insert that part here. But if not, just know that it has that property, and that's also sort of a really cool metaphysical property to have as well. So a lot of them are colored with manganese, and that's what would give them the pink hue. So this is and they're so pastel, they're almost watercolor, but like I said, not to mistake that for being soft necessarily, or more gentle. They are definitely powerful crystals. So I've got a pink one here, yellow. This one's kind of a green with purple. This one's more of a blue color and purple with green. And they come in tons of colors. This isn't even half of them, but it often does show up by color, and I think that's really beautiful as well. So yeah, transmutation is so key right now for 2022, as so many of us are shedding everything that is no longer resonant. So many people are raising consciousness, and really we're shedding so many old paradigms. And even though it does seem like we're taking steps backward in many ways, I promise collectively we are not. We are all aware. We are all creating our own timelines. So it's a really incredible time to be alive. And as we shed all of this old energy, it's important to make sure that it's channeled positively, or it's transmuted properly. So many times in videos or in a lot of people's practices that do energy work, you may see things like plucking or combing or, things like that. And I was taught that you don't just move energy and throw it on the ground, because as we know, energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be transformed or transmuted or transferred. So it's important to be mindful of your environment. That's just as important as your body, and maybe even more important than your body sometimes. So definitely something to keep in mind there. And that makes Kunzite really important for any energy work that you're doing, or any like sound work even, or any frequency type work. It's such an important crystal to have around. So I highly recommend getting a piece of Kunzite that you feel like you resonate with, and really keeping it close as we move forward. And it feels like things may get worse before they get better. So it's such a good ally to have. And I'm going to go through some of the ones that I have and talk about them a little bit, and also talk about the different properties of the different colors and things like that, if it helps to kind of sort them out. So the main kind of color of Kunzite that you'll see is this sort of violet purple color, and it's colored that way with lithium and likely manganese. And they are very almost similar to selenite in the fact that they have this very beautifully kind of striated appearance. You could even say it's lamellar, and some of them in the light polarizer, as you might know, when you look at light that's polarized between two really thin films, it tends to iridesce. So that's what causes the rainbows in crystals. It's a really thin gap. So it might be a fracture, or it might just be the way the crystal grew. But it really adds such a beauty and character, and they look completely iridescent under the light polarizer. It's really cool. So these are great for working with lifting up heaviness, lifting up a heavy heart specifically, and great for a broken heart, or just a really heaviness in the chest and in the emotional body. This is a great crystal to work with the emotional body. And it does have a bit of a water element, because it is another one of the hydrothermal crystals that I've talked about before. So it's grown in an environment that's both water and intense heat and pressure. So you get both the water and the fire element, which I think is really interesting, and probably why they're a little bit of like a sleeper, powerful crystal. It's kind of subdued under the water, but it's definitely still there. It makes it kind of a good crystal for a Scorpio. That's probably why I like it so much. But this is kind of the most typical that you will see. And another kind you might see frequently, this is one of my favorite pieces I have. It's so beautiful. It's this kind of blue color, blue-green. It's very, very high vibrational color, very gorgeous, kind of gemmy crystal, and it's so gorgeous. I love it. And this one resonates so much with the higher heart. So the higher heart is, to me, it's where the thymus is, and it really closely affects your immune system and, even the energetic immune system. It also works beautifully with the heart, but just the higher heart has a greater resonance with it. So it's, the higher heart is like, of course the regular heart, but just up a frequency. If you're turning the radio station, you're just going up a degree or two. And this really kind of connects you to your higher self, your higher purpose, higher love, so a more divine love. And it's just a more, I don't want to say evolved version of love, but it's a little bit more in resonance with the, you might even call it the Shen in Chinese medicine, which is the heart, but higher vibrational. There's a lowercase Shen and an uppercase Shen. They're a little bit different, but anyway, it's beautiful. So it's another one, I talked about this one a lot for COVID, because of how it works with the immune system, and it's beautifully healing, beautifully cooling and calming, and very just kind of settling in its nature. I think it's got a, kind of a higher water vibration, and I've got my fluorescent light. You can't really tell too much with this one. Let me find one that has a great fluorescence. This one's pretty good. It fluoresces this gorgeous pink color, which is probably why it's hard to see, because I've got two pink lights on me, but they light up really, really beautifully. And maybe able to see on this one how cool. This is a really super gemmy piece that came from Pakistan as well. And it's more of a pink purple, but it's a warm purple, and it's got kind of a yellow at the bottom. And this one has a really kind of a sensual quality to it, very feminine, and it feels almost tropical, and in that way, very juicy. This one I was talking about earlier has really strong, almost like Wonder Woman vibes, like pink and gold, and Asgard castles and that kind of thing. Very empowering, very connective, and connected with your higher self as well. So these really gemmy ones start to get very, very impactful to your life, and they can be a doozy to work with. So these are two that are like brother and sister. They came out of the same pocket, and I got them at different times in their lives, but I had to come back and get them at separate times because they're very expensive, and I I just knew they wanted to be together. So sometimes that happens. Oh God. You can see they're kind of a pink, gold, purple color. It's hard to describe, and of course you can't see it in these lights, but they really just carry so much light. And this one has that lamellar thing I was talking about, and I'm sure it's probably not going to show in this video, but it has the most stunning rainbows of most of the crystals that I have. It actually won a contest that had a lot of participants, actually. It won the rainbow contest, so I'm very proud of this guy. Or girl, I don't know. They have, I guess since it's two, it's a little bit more of a masculine feminine thing, but they're probably both feminine. Another that I have that you're probably not going to be able to see on the camera is this guy, and it has the helix, the spiral up through the middle, and it's so cool because it looks like elven writing, or cursive writing. It's so cool. I'll probably do a close-up of this one too because it's just pretty cool looking. It has the same really potent, powerful, like women embodiment energy. And this is one of my bigger pieces. This is a purple piece, and it has the best sounds. It's such a high vibrational crystal. It's like my magic wand. And what's really fascinating about this one is the way that its spiral propagates. So its spiral starts here and forks into two, and that's pretty cool to me. I just love that. And the purple has, of course, a really high vibration, even more so than the pink. It's really for the third eye chakra and the crown chakra, working with the deep intuition and accessing the astral planes and mental planes and things like that. So gorgeous, gorgeous crystal. This one kind of makes me feel like lightning a little bit. And just as a caveat, the spirals that go through these crystals that I keep talking about, this one is probably one of my best. It's a terminated piece, which means that it's got its point, and it's got this gorgeous, huge spiral. And yeah, oh my gosh, I just got mesmerized by it. I forgot what I was talking about. Oh, the helix. Nobody really knows what causes them. It's referred to as a pressure dislocation or a spiral dislocation, but that occurs at a unit cell level, at an atomic level. So a hair is like, I can't even remember Gosh, don't fall. It's something like 250 million times that you would need to repeat this to be able to make it actually visible to the human eye. But the fact that these are clearly visible to the human eye really kind of makes it a mystery. It's possible they are fractal in nature, which I'll talk about in the video, but it is possible that they could propagate out to be visible based on that, but it's just a tough math problem kind of to do. So yeah, more on that in another video, but this one is, oh, I love this crystal so much. This one is green, and you can't really tell from the video, but it's a kind of a light pastel green, and look at this guy. It's got this like crazy tip on it, just beautifully like faceted tip, and gorgeous crystal quality, gorgeous clarity. And then it's got these 3 spirals up the front. Maybe you can see it better, but it's got a dark background. Yeah, look, you can see there's those. And it's, oh my gosh, it's so cool. It's one of my all-time favorites. But anyway, maybe it's pennies too. It resonates to me with the heart and the higher heart too, of course, but being more of a pure green color, it resonates with the Pleiades, which is another reason I love it so much. And it's so special. This one is, I don't know, helped me to access kind of like my soul's journey and that kind of thing. So yeah, just it's so cool. And this one is, I should have said earlier, the different colors have different names, and Kunzite is the actual name for the pink color. So it was named after Kuntz, and actually worked with kind of J.P. Morgan, and it was not, it's pretty recently that it's been discovered, and it was discovered in California. Penny's just helping, I think. Is that wrong? Well, maybe she's thinking about Hiddenite, because Hiddenite is the name of the green one. And actually, the only true Hiddenite is from Hiddenite, North Carolina. And it's green, and it's the only one that's colored with actual chromium. This is not colored with chromium. And it's actually so rare that I only have a piece that's like the size of a grain of rice. They are very, very rare, but they're totally different. They have a bright neon kind of green color and a little bit yellowy, and no very big crystals were found there. They're all very small. So spodumene is the name of the overarching mineral group. And yeah, Kunzite is just the pink color. So this piece has spodumene. It's kind of yellow with quartz and garnet growing on it. Speaking of, crystals coming out this year, and these have started popping up quite frequently in Pakistan. I had a whole lot of them. Well, a whole lot was 5, and I kept 2 of them. So I put the other 3 on my website, and 2 of them have already sold. So, but what a cool combination of the 2 important crystals of 2022. Now they're actually starting to form together, and that is pretty rare historically. Kunzite is very picky about who it works with, which is why it didn't want me to work with any other crystals. Really, the only stone that it grows with, well, there's a few, but the main crystal it grows with is morganite, and morganite will be coming in the next video, the like 3.51. So they're good buddies, but it's found every now and then with tourmaline. I have a piece that has some tourmaline on it too, but it will be featured in the Garnet on Things video, which is the next one I'm gonna do. So yeah, more of these guys on that, but it's also rare that the crystal grows as orange from Pakistan. Most of the spessartine garnets are red, and spessartine garnets again are colored that way because of manganese, and manganese is also in these crystals, so that's good heart medicine, and yeah, just good to open the heart. So super cool. Another cool combination one that I have is this piece that has green tourmaline. That's one of the only other stones that Kunzite grows with, is tourmaline. And it's also got a cool little quartz, double terminated quartz point on it. So yeah, this piece, green tourmaline and quartz and Kunzite. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see, but it's got green tourmaline all the way up through the middle of these 2 little thin pieces. It's so cool. So it really only likes tourmaline, quartz, feldspar, morganite, garnet now, and that's it. It does not grow with anything else. So the fact that it started growing with garnet shows you how important it is. Like, even Kunzite, who won't grow with anyone, was like, alright, everybody needs some garnet in their lives. And it's actually even, spodumene is found in this crystal, which is euphorolite. And again, it might be controversial to some people in the collector community because it's not really a crystal, in that it doesn't grow in gem quality, but well, it actually does. The tourmaline does. I've got some of that, but this is grown in layers in the earth, and there will be a whole video on this type of crystal soon. There's a lot to say about it, so I really want to get it right, so it might be a while, but yeah, even found in this mineral, there's a ton of minerals and rare earth elements in euphorolite, and it's found in South Dakota, so in a very, very special meteor impact area, and that's also what makes this crystal so high vibrational. It really carries galactic and sort of star energy as well. Really, the Pleiades and Vega. This one resonates to me with Vega. So the last one that I have is my most insane piece, and it's probably one of the most prized pieces I have in my collection, and I'm sure I'm not going to be able to really get it to cooperate on camera, but it's just a giant gem chunk with a huge spiral through the middle. It almost looks like barbed wire, but it's a helix, a crystal helix, and even part of it's exposed here. But this piece is absolutely insane. It's like so metal. So yeah, gorgeous. And that's really it. My camera battery is dying, so I love you so much. Thank you for being here and learning about Kunzite, or just relaxing and having a good evening. So I hope that you've enjoyed looking at some cool stones, and yeah, let me know if there's any other crystals you'd